What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of THH Sports. Today we will be talking about the NFC North. We want to thank you all for joining. If you are not already a subscriber, please subscribe today. You get access to so much content that we provide you guys. We're talking about football, basketball, baseball, boxing, UFC. The list just goes on and on. But the list is also going to go on and on when we're here to talk about the NFC North because we've got a star-studded panel with us. Romeo, if you wouldn't mind doing some introductions for me because you know many of these gentlemen far better than I do.
Yes. First, let's start with our Detroit Lions fannies, the pride of Detroit. You see him on Around the Point over on the Heel Steven YouTube channel, Big Mike.
Yo, what's going on, fellas? Shout out to One Pride Nation. Lions, go Lions. Gonna do it this year, hopefully.
And representing the Chicago Bears, RJ, how are you doing? The Bears.
I just got done watching the preseason game, and I'm about as optimistic as I could be, considering the circumstances.
It's the Seattle Seahawks. Will you stop? All right. We got two Vikings fans. First, from over on Fightful, you catch him with coexisting with Rob and Maggie. Rob Wilkins, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good. And also from Fightful, the good brother Steven Jensen. You can catch him on the Spotlight on Fightful Overbooked Live Rounds with Doug. Steven, how you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on the show, y'all. This is going to be fun. Looking forward to talking about some football. Really excited for the season starting.
And, of course, I'm Romeo, the Jets fan. John StatKing, the Broncos fan. Let's do this.
Alrighty, guys, we're here to talk about the NFC North. But before we do that, we have two little pieces of news that we're going to get to. One is a fairly large one, and that is that the drama surrounding Deshaun Watson seems as though it is starting to come to a close. Today, they came to an agreement where he's going to be suspended for 11 games, upping it from the 6 that previously was his suspension. He's also going to be fined $5 million after the settlement with the NFLPA. The Browns are going to be kicking in another $1 million, and the NFL is going to be kicking in another $1 million. And all of that is going to be creating a fund to support nonprofits in the United States that educate young people on healthy relationships, education and prevention of sexual misconduct and assault, support survivors, and related causes. So it looks as though if, one of the key things to remember here is that while he is suspended for 11 games, and it looks as though his first game back will be against the Texans, one of the conditions of his reinstatement is that he has to go through third-party counseling and third-party observation and monitorship, like making sure that he's making the right decisions in life. And if they feel that he has proven himself capable or qualified to be reinstated, they will give their go-ahead. But that go-ahead is going to be required. So it's possible that his reinstatement will be longer than 11 games. That remains to be seen. And one of the important things that I feel when it comes to things like this is acknowledging that you have made a mistake. And in his press conference, Watson maintained his innocence, though he did say that he apologized to everybody, especially all women who may or may not have been affected by any means for the alleged behavior. So I don't know. It seems as though he is accepting guilt. He is not accepting guilt. But as we talk about how we feel this news is going to affect not just the Browns, but the entire league, let's welcome in our third co-host, and that is Top Guy JJ. JJ, how are you doing? How do you feel? We'll start with you. How do you feel about the Watson suspension news?
Well, what's going on, fellas? Nice to meet most of. So I see a Lions. So I'm just trying to figure out who's who real quick.
Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my. Well.
Oh, okay.
We got Tiger Stadium on too.
We got the Mossum and the Bears. That's obvious as hell. and Rob, who you a fan of, sir?
Vikings.
Vikings. Oh, we got 2 Vikings fans up in here. No Packers. I wonder why.
We don't need the
Wonder why.
Packers.
We don't have to associate.
Maybe they feel they don't need to do a preview because they feel they're locked in for the division.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like all of us
feel
are
that
that
way.
Packers fan friend.
And then when it comes to this news, this felt like they tried to right their wrongs and their so-called lack of ideas and trying to kind of put the third party in there and have somebody else kind of make the bad decision for them. It seems like it might be serviceable for people for now. $5 million is probably the biggest fine in NFL history. That's a massive fine. But obviously out of $231 million, he'll be all right. So it seems, is there more to come? Is this the final decision and are we done with this afterwards?
We don't know.
I mean-
We don't know exactly.
So it just seems like I don't know. I think they try to go for the whole year. But this is the price you got to pay. This is the price that you pay for, being the center of attention, trying to get these extra ordeals with all of these women and all of this stuff. And the year is not enough, but it's at least it's double of what it was. We had 6 games on the table, which was absolutely pathetic. And now we're up to 11 and $5 million. So we'll see if it keeps going up. I do think that they should have just went for the whole jugular and just went for the year and just called it a day. Just go for the whole year. Just don't even let him see the field in 2022-23 and let him come back 2023-24. And that would be kind of like sentence served. Now you get back on the field and do what you got to do.
I mean, I agree with you. I think they should have gone for the full year, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Meanwhile, Calvin Ridley's over there like, I was betting on how many games he would be suspended for. I said add on to mine.
The over under. The over.
Now they put him in front of. They did a press conference with him.
Yeah.
Did you catch any of that? Was that cringeworthy as it sounds?
Well, that's what I'm saying. During that press conference, that's when he was saying, I maintain my innocence, but I want to apologize to all all women. And reporters were directly asking him, like, who exactly are you apologizing to? And he was saying all women. He would not say specifically the women involved in any of the allegations. He kept maintaining all women, like anybody who heard the news and was upset by it or felt some kind of way. He's apologizing to them, but he's maintaining his innocence. So I guess he's more apologizing that they went through it, not that he caused it. So we'll have to see.
Listen, this
That's
is
guilty in its own right.
the thing that got me was how fishy it was that it's 11 games, and then it's right when the Texans play them. Like,
Yeah.
you're not fooling nobody with that.
Out of everything, that's the first. That's what
Yes.
he lands.
Well, that's the actual punishment, because like when he came out to play, or he didn't play, but when they came out for their preseason game, they're all chanting "You sick fuck" collectively at him. And, they're thinking, okay, we could really get this guy by making him return against the Texans, because like he's gonna get destroyed.
Is that
out
game
there.
in Houston or
It's in Houston.
Destroyed by the
In Houston.
Texans.
It's in Houston.
Oh, storyline. That's all.
Channing-
That'll be
Channing-
a prime time game.
Like
It's
they're
gonna
like
be
they're
crazy.
like
Fans
they're
are
gonna
be kicked
They're
out
gonna
that
do whatever
game. They're
affects
gonna
their
be
bottom
punishing
line.
like this is a state, like this is meant to embarrass him. Obviously, like this is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
okay, like
Shame.
we could have went for the season, but like this is even better. Like this is like what's
No.
gonna come out of that game is gonna be even worse.
How dope would that be if the whole stadium shame,
Shame.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones.
Shame.
70,000 people. That would be ill, yo.
Yo, chanting Usyk fuck at him like it's a fucking hardcore deathmatch wrestling show, and somebody just
Yeah.
got hit with light tubes and some shit.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
Come on out,
It's
you
gonna be-
rapist.
Yeah, I'm just glad the Vikings didn't take him. Like there was like a lot of speculation about where he was gonna wind up, and like he's obviously a very athletic guy, but like that's I wouldn't want to touch
Yeah.
that if I was any team right now. That's
Part
for
of, me
sure.
wants part of me wants it to stick at 11 because I need to see this stadium
Right.
that day.
For real.
Holy.
Man.
Come on out, you rapist!
Wow.
Yo, it would be, I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys kind of watch basketball at all, but the day that Latrell Sprewell went back to Golden State, the crowd on him was insane. That
Too young
man
for that.
touched the basketball. He touched the basketball via a pass. They went ballistic on him. Like, it was a sight to behold, boy. Holy.
But in other quarterback news designed to break Romeo's heart, George Saleh, head coach of the Jets, has
No! Fuck!
Yo, that's one of my favorite arguments from Powell, bro. I know! Fuck!
George Saleh, head coach of the Jets, has announced that if
Robert
Zach
Saleh.
Wilson-
Robert Saleh. Get
Saleh,
his name
yeah.
right. Robert Saleh.
I mean, he's endangering his quarterback, so I don't know if I should. But he's saying that if Zach Wilson is ready to go by week 1, they will trot him out there, damaged knee and all, to be the quarterback for the New York Jets week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. It is a home game at least, but it is the Ravens. Romeo, how do you feel about it?
What kind of fucking question is that?
Jets.
Yo, the one line of my show is fucking awesome, bro.
Yeah, how many of those you
Jets
have
are-
queued up, like ready to go? That's incredible.
Oh, we
How
have a
fast that
whole video bank.
What did you say?
Depends what you say. The Jets are gonna kill my boy. They're gonna kill my boy in week 1. They're gonna kill him. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna try to be a hero, and in front of our own home fans, he's gonna tear his ACL. Watch. They be patient. He shouldn't come back week 2 the earliest. Week 3,
Yeah.
I'm even fine with. Like, his prognosis is 2 to 4 weeks. Take
What
it all
happened
the
to
way
that
to
revamped
the
O
max.
line?
Even with a revamped O line, he will get out of the pocket and run. That's his game. He will scramble. So,
Yeah, I mean, this injury
and that was a
happened because he
non-contact injury. Yeah,
the injury happened because he was scrambling in a preseason game. He's gonna scramble whenever he wants to.
yeah.
Better learn how to slide really quick.
He better.
But you know, the
Shouldn't be
crazy
scrambling in
thing
preseason games.
is Zach is gonna want to play as soon as he feels okay. So it's like they gotta hold him against himself, yo. He's gonna want to get on that field. He ain't gonna disclose any discomfort if he even feels it. So it's such a dicey thing, man.
Yeah, we wanna take this time to welcome everybody in the chat. Armand Monson has a really great point. NBC can flex the Browns at Texans to Sunday night due to flexible scheduling.
And they will.
And they will. They've already done it. That's the thing. Like, they've already got that.
Sunday night football. Oh my god.
You like that? You like that?
There you go, Curry.
Crowd, that
I do like that.
And Houston, one thing they do got is a banging crowd. They got a good ass crowd, and them Texans fans, obviously their team stinks, but their fans are pretty legit.
Yeah, and another division or group of teams that has a very strong, dedicated fan base, as we can see right here, is the NFC North. And man, let's get into it. So as you guys may or may not know, what we do is the 3 co-hosts, we put together our win-loss predictions for the season. We put them up on the board, and then we have a discussion of where we think all the teams are going to shake out. So with no further ado, these are the records as what myself, Romeo, and JJ believe. We've got the Packers taking the division. We disagree on the exact shakeout, but Romeo thinks the Packers and the Vikings could be a little bit closer than myself and JJ. We all have Bears at the bottom, with the Lions making a bit of a resurgence, it seems, and maybe showing that this rebuild is on its way to being something fruitful, as opposed to just being another factory of sadness for the Detroit team.
Let
So
you know right now, DeAndre Swift is my favorite player in that entire division, and I'm not even trying to cap. DeAndre Swift is special, boy.
that's where I wanted to start, the Detroit Lions.
Hold on. Can you put that back up again? I don't know if anyone noticed.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Romeo did predict his.
I do have them tying a game. The
Oh,
Lions.
no. I can't take another tie in the season. No. We've done it twice. I don't like that.
The anxiety
It's coming again.
It's just like unreal. It's like you gotta be fucking kidding me right now, yo. One fucking drive. Field goal.
With the Cardinals, we had them beat, and then it just fell apart. And then I think it's such a blur last year. I forgot who we tied with last year.
I can find out for you. Don't worry.
I was like, dude, I can't believe we did this again.
No, you only had one tie last year.
Oh, one, yeah, but we did it
felt like
the season before that. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Some intrigue with my team. It's an intrigue in the division in general because it's a lot of new things. New coaching, new coaches, players, rookies. I might get like a whole thing to watch everybody, but I'm excited.
Speaking of rookies, Hutchinson.
Yeah, Hutchinson. I'm excited for Hutch. I might call him Smooth Criminal after the Billie Jean thing.
That's gonna be the defensive rookie of the year.
Let him be a smooth criminal on the field first.
But yeah. Not. If one thing he does outside, I'm disowning him. But smooth criminal on the field. Hopefully, footwork is there. He did a lot of nice little moves in the first preseason game. Hard Knocks has been very, very entertaining to watch.
And he's a hometown kid.
Middle school, Michigan, high school in Michigan. Went to Michigan. Now for Detroit Lions, it's great. So, and I'm a Michigan fan, so I've seen it all with him. So I'm excited, and I'm excited for a couple of things too. Devin Funchess for tight end to kind of ease. Yeah, they moved him to tight end.
Yeah,
a nice little combat with TJ Hawkinson. Hopefully that we can keep him. Hopefully we do good enough to keep him because we got to keep him and Swift. I think Swift we got to give him some money next year, I believe, but Hawkinson this year. Golf needs to do better. J-Mo, I'm excited to see him when he gets healthy, probably in the second half of the season.
Yes, he's gonna be good.
Still in the draft. A lot of people's first wide receiver on a lot of boards before the injury and stuff like that.
The Lions don't need him right now. They don't need him right now.
No, but we're deep in receiver right now because we got Sharp, we got St. Brown, Cephas.
I'll tell you what, St. Brown won me a fantasy league last year.
Yeah, he went crazy. I mean, the first game he was a little. But then he just took off after that, and he was exciting to watch in those trying times last season. But yeah, hopefully injuries won't hit us bad. I know we got guys coming off an injury before the season, trying to get healthy. Hopefully guys can stay healthy. Jeff Okudah, hopefully he makes the turnaround after getting injured after the first game. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for everything.
I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about Dan Campbell and his coaching style?
Yeah, Mr. Bite the kneecaps off. I love it. I love Dan the Man. He's a really good guy. I want to run through a brick wall every time I hear him talk because he is so passionate. He's so passionate. Every time I watch, I'm like, dude, like I'm antsy. I want to run through a wall for you. But yeah, it's just some things that he needs to tweak as a coach. some of the play calling he did was good, but he needs to tighten up a few things. For once in my life as a Lions fan, I feel safe with this coaching staff.
And I'll be in Detroit week 1. I'll be seeing that game against Philly. Yes, sir.
All right. Hopefully you have a good time. I won't be down there. They got to prove it to me. They got to prove it to me before I buy some tickets.
DJ Chark could also be a pretty solid addition too. Like, just say fuck it, yo. Jared Goff just needs to throw that suggestion box out there and just say, listen, I need to use DeAndre Swift the way I use Todd Gurley in St. Louis. Like,
and that seems like that's where they're gonna go.
Fuck Jamal Williams, as he aight. But DeAndre Swift is your bread and butter.
Mike, I want to read you a note that I wrote word for word because let me just read it word for word. Campbell gets a lot of love for being so passionate and people wanting to run through a brick wall for him.
Yes.
Those tears need to translate to wins.
They do.
Eventually. Or his last tears are going to be because he was fired.
Yeah, because when he cried, I believe that was week 1 after he cried. I was like, dude, we don't need this.
What, you gonna cry? No? No, go ahead, cry. Let me see you. Let me see you cry.
You need the one where. Never mind. Go on.
Yeah,
Tell me
I was
later.
like, dude,
Tell me later.
I will.
We do not need a crier right now. I was like, I get it. You're passionate. I hope that later down the line it could transfer into wins. But man, like, we're being laughed at right now. You lose the game and you crying?
No, I
Like,
think more
come on,
people admire that than
they
just
did.
like, fuck I
They
am,
did.
you know.
They did. And slowly, we're starting to get a lot of like media attention. We got a couple guys on like what's that football show?
Hard Knocks.
Not Hard Knocks.
All or
the
Nothing?
talk show. No, it's like
PFT
it's
Talk
like,
or Pro Football
I
Talk?
thought it was like Good Morning Football or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We got a couple of guys that give us some time and talk about us and have faith. Like even Pat McAfee, has interviewed our coach, and they like all the things that we're doing, and even like in the front office, it's been like a nice turnaround. So I'm very excited for what my team can do. Hopefully they don't turn that switch to like the old regime, but right now they're going on the right path.
One of the first.
You know what I was thinking?
They've been so competitive. That's probably one of the reasons that man cried, is that they've been so fucking competitive. They had a shitty win-loss record, but their games, they were in at least 12 of their games last year. So they're right there, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking like, how do you think Jared Goff feels seeing Matt Stafford lead his team, his old team, to the Super Bowl championship? Does that make him hungry, or does that demoralize him?
That should make him hungry, because you got like over $100 million for scoring 3 points, and that money shouldn't have went to you. Should have went to the kicker. The kicker did the job. You didn't do the job. He did the job. So that should make you hungry to be like, okay, I can take the bad situation that you left and make it even better as they grow. And you took my situation and just made them better. But in all actuality, Stafford's the better quarterback. It doesn't matter he just had Megatron and him for years. And we made the playoffs twice. We lost, but we made the playoffs twice with just them two and a defense.
In my research, I saw that Goff can be cut for $10 million next year, dead cap, and you have an extra first round pick to move up and get your quarterback if you want next draft.
Why?
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
But why?
I mean, if Jared Goff you want Jared Goff to stick around?
Yes. Like,
What?
Why? Like, why? I'm really confused by that. Why?
Because he's
he
average.
sucks. He has a clear limited ceiling.
He's a backup quarterback, maybe.
Yeah,
he's not a backup quarterback.
Like I don't like him.
He's Andy Dalton. He's like the sum of his parts. That's the best he can be.
Yeah, I like that
And
comparison.
I'm not
Andy
the
Dalton.
slander on Goff is crazy.
It's supposed to be a good draft for quarterbacks too next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
there's so much talent in this next draft.
You got 2
I
first
don't
round
want
picks.
us to miss out. I don't want us to miss out on anybody good. If he doesn't perform the way he should, because just like how it was with Stafford, there's literally Stafford and then the water boy.
I agree with you.
There's nobody. There's
he can't
nobody to
perform.
come in.
You got
You
to
know, I think the storybook ending for Detroit, this is my Cinderella story scenario, and I think it could possibly happen, is that Matt at Stafford pulls a LeBron James and comes back to Detroit to go ahead and win a Super Bowl once they stack the team.
That's what the rumor. A lot of people was like, well, he's thinking about coming back because they have type. Like he was here for Miggy's 3,000 hit. He was here for charity. It's like him, and just to toss it over to baseball, it's like him and Verlander have strong ties here. They love the city so much. So I wouldn't surprise me that he would come back. But
the ultimate Cinderella story.
I mean, when he
It's a trap.
100% it's a trap. It's a major trap.
I was just gonna say when he and the wife left, he and the family left Detroit, they had that huge donation to the hospital where she had her surgery and recovery. So he does have a lot of strong ties. I would say one person that I'm going to be looking for is Josh Reynolds, who came over from the Rams and has a lot of experience with Goff. And when he made the transition from the Titans to Goff when the Titans cut him, he played pretty well for you in the few games that he was there. And so I think another offseason of just building more rapport with Goff and getting back into their rhythm, that's going to be another piece that'll be interesting to see what happens with them.
How about the transition from the Rams? He was never with the Titans. He was with us for a cup of tea.
Yeah, well, you had him, then you cut him.
Right. But you could tell that he was his comfort zone. You could tell on the field, even though we lost a lot, but you could tell that was his comfort. So it was like, okay, if that's what it takes, then cool, we'll take him. But now it's like our receiver core is like so deep. It's like we just got to start filtering out guys and making sure that we get the right core, and hopefully some guys perform. And sky's the limit with that, because if we got guys to throw to, then it'll take the slack off of Goff. It's like, oh, maybe it wasn't Goff, maybe it was the talent, So I hope for the best. I really do. I don't want to like really get rid of him like that without giving him a fair shot with receivers, but
let's turn to a team that has a new head coach, and that could be either the Bears or the Vikings. But right now we're going to be talking about
and a new GM.
And a new GM. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Vikings. You went through an entire regime change, top to bottom. Got rid of the GM, got rid of the head coach. Mike Zimmer's gone. Now he's with Jackson State University as a defensive assistant or something like that, as a consultant. But one thing that I think is interesting is that when I look at the Vikings draft, it's almost all defense and offensive line. There's very little skill position players. There's very little quarterback. They really do apparently feel as though Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy. But then again, you have the GM making those statements that when you have a top 5 quarterback, that's how you win Super Bowls, and we don't have that. So, Steven, I wanted to ask you, with this draft and this new coach, how do you feel about the Vikings kind of retooling and trying to wrest control the division from the stranglehold that the Packers have had it?
I'm really optimistic about it for a lot of reasons. I like Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa a lot, their new general manager. He's young. He has like a totally different vibe about him. Like he wears like sweats and like a ball cap to like meetings. Like it's like he's like relatable. He's like which was the complete opposite of the previous regime. Them bringing in Kevin O'Connell keeps me optimistic for a lot of reasons too. One, he's the same way. He's a young guy. He's a former quarterback. He's respected. He's coming off of winning a Super Bowl with the Rams. And look at what the Rams just did with Matthew Stafford, as we were just talking about. Like, I feel like he could do the same with a guy like Kirk Cousins. I think there's a lot of similarities between guys like Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford. So I'm I don't want to speak for Rob. I think Rob was a bigger fan of Mike Zimmer than I was. I liked Zimmer a lot for the first few years he was with Minnesota, and then he like really lost my trust, especially towards the end. So I was all for the regime change. And then with a guy like Kevin O'Connell in the you see what he did with guys like Cooper Kupp in the offense he runs, and you just think Justin Jefferson's just going to have a humongous season if he stays healthy, because he's going to be all over that field. You got Adam Thielen, who's still a touchdown machine. They got a solid defense. They've added to their defense. I think Lewis Seen is a great draft pick. They took him early at safety. Harrison Smith's getting up there in age. So there's a lot to be excited about. Dalvin Cook is still a great running back, and like no one even talks about him, it feels like, because there's so much other stuff going on around him. Irv Smith Jr. coming back off injury could be a great tight end for them. So they have a lot of really good things going for them. And I'm a Kirk Cousins guy. Like, it took me a few seasons. I get the people who don't like him, but I think he's by far the best option like we had. I'd rather have him where he's at right now than start over with somebody new and just have another coin flip or roll the dice of like another Christian Ponder or Tavares Jackson or something like that like just completely doesn't work out. We at least know Kirk Cousins is a competent quarterback when he's not getting like destroyed if he doesn't have to worry about getting sacked so much. I think he's going to be a great quarterback potentially. So,
and also,
Steven, what quarterbacks did Steven just say?
Huh? Christian Ponder and Tavares Jackson.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. A long time.
Right, for sure. Because you got to remember, throughout these years too, what we would try to do. What people don't realize is the Minnesota Vikings haven't had, outside of Dante Culpepper. I mean, if you want to go a little bit farther back, Randall Cunningham in like the late '90s when Randy Moss came into the league and all that. You had Chris Carter and that whole team. Dante Culpepper had like a couple good seasons in the early 2000s. And since then, outside of one really good year with Brett Favre, it's just been this clown car of like these terrible quarterbacks we drafted, or trying to hire people like Matt Castle or like Donovan McNabb. We had him for a second. And like, I mean, and Josh Freeman and like we just did anything we could to, the one dude who pulled through for us was, Brett Favre, the one year that we should have made the Super Bowl for sure. But there was the dude, now I'm blanking on his name, the guy who we let, Case Keenum. He played like really good for one season.
I forgot about him. Yeah,
and then he had a really great year.
He did the Minnesota Miracle and everything with Diggs, but then we opted for Kirk. Like we were like, we see a brighter future in having Kirk as our quarterback. At the time, I was really against it because I thought Keenum had earned that spot. But yeah, so I'm very optimistic, but at the same time, the Minnesota Vikings never won the Super Bowl ever in history, so it's not like I'm not delusional, but like I'm optimistic.
I may have missed it. Did you mention my guy Justin Jefferson?
Of course, yeah, I said that.
Okay,
so with Kevin O'Connell, I was saying Justin Jefferson's going to have a huge year because he's going to be all over that field. Like I think he's going to be running in the backfield all over the place. And when he's running around, Thielen's going to be open. When Thielen's getting covered, KJ Osborne's going to be running fly routes. Like Irv Smith's going to be doing. I mean, and then you can hand the ball to Dalvin Cook still. I mean, like I feel like we had a really good shot this year. But everyone feels that way about their team before the season. So I mean, I guess
I don't.
Rob, I wanted to ask you. Mike Zimmer was a defensive-minded coach, and for a while there, the Vikings had an incredibly powerful defense. But very recently, past couple of years, it really took a nosedive as some players left, just couldn't get retained or got cut as they got older. How do you feel about the Vikings defense now going forward?
Well, the biggest thing with Zimmer, like Steven was right. I was a big Zimmer guy. And then after like a lot of the stories came out about him, that a lot of fans did not know that he did not. I mean, it was so bad in that locker room that he would not let the players watch TV, like in the locker room. That's how you build teams. Like let the guys hang out, watch TV, sit on the couch so they don't have to go home, stuff like that. And he didn't allow that. That was just baffling to me. That's how like teams like bond, like just players get to bond. Nobody got to bond on this team. So that's going to change things. As far as like the defense goes, I am somewhat worried because of like Harrison Smith getting older. I think Eric Kendricks is going to be awesome, like normal. I'm not worried about him. The linebacking, the other linebackers, I'm kind of worried about. But I think overall, if they can just, it comes down to their secondary. The Vikings always have had a decent defensive line. It's their secondary that I worry about this year, especially with Harrison Smith. I love Harrison, but he is getting older, and it'll be interesting to see how they do.
I
So
think
that's how I feel about the defense.
I think that's why it was smart that they drafted Lewis Seen though, because like if he pans out, he's going to be a good successor to Harrison. And on that defensive line, dude, if Danielle Hunter stays healthy and Zadarius Smith, like they're going to be. I mean, this could be a powerful. And I'll also say for when I lost Zimmer, for me, I was heading that way already, like during the season last year when we were losing like all these games by like one score at the end of the game over and over and over. But at the end of the season, when the last game he wouldn't run plays to get the ball to Justin Jefferson to break Randy Moss's record, like they just like they kneeled the ball out instead of just throwing it to him a few times to get that record. I was like, screw this guy. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you do that for somebody? You're not going to make the playoffs. You're going to win the game no matter what. We were up like 3 touchdowns with like a few minutes left with the ball. And instead we're kneeling it instead of just like getting our guy a record. You know, it was like, fuck
I think that would have been bad sportsmanship though.
What?
To the other team. You said you were up 3 touchdowns?
No, they were up 3 touchdowns.
Oh, the other team was up.
No, we were up. No, we were ahead. We were going to win either way.
That's kind of a.
He needed like 12 yards.
Bill Belichick thing to do.
It was like 12 yards. He's throwing the ball like one more time instead of kneeling it. Like, I mean, it was like, I don't know, man. The whole building's Jefferson. And Zimmer's just like, nope, forget everybody.
He did it.
That was a rookie record?
No, it was a single season. I think it was the single season yards.
He'll break that anyways.
Well, with having the extra game helps too. Like Moss didn't have the 17 games. That's needs to be kind of said.
If it was a rookie record, I'd understand more.
And I like this year, like as far as like offense goes, I agreed with all of Steven's points, and I think with obviously Devontae Adams being out of this division, that's definitely going to put Justin Jefferson in the first for receiving yards in the North. I don't see anybody having more yards than him.
Might be the league.
I agree with that.
Oh yeah, they could be the league too. Absolutely.
I'm interested to see how the coaches go ahead and interact because you have Denver's old coach, Denver's old defensive coordinator, and you have Sean McVay's clipboard boy being your head coach.
Wait, you were the Bears fan, right?
I am.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you can say much about that when your general manager can't formulate sentences in press conferences.
Oh no!
Oh, you got to take a drink to that.
I mean,
I agree with that.
Let's turn to the.
Let's ask a question really quick.
No, go for it.
Just about one guy. Patrick Peterson. Like, is there like any surprise that he hasn't like shifted over to safety yet? Because I think he could be a really good safety. It feels like his corner days is definitely dwindling down like very quick.
They played him at safety like a couple of plays last year, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did move him. And that was something that's been talked about like on local like sports radio, that he can fill in a few times for that.
That'd be a nice combo with him and Harrison Smith back there.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting. I could definitely see it as far as like speed goes. I mean, there's a couple of receivers that they're going to face this year. Like they play the NFC East, so they're going to go against like CD Lamb. So, I mean, I don't know if you want an older guy covering CD Lamb. So, it just depends how their speed is with their secondary. Like I said, that's what worries me. But I would love to see Peterson like in that backfield here and there, or as a safety if needed. He's a hell of a substitute. That's one guy I would want.
Well, that's been the big problem with like the Vikings. Well, they've had various problems in defense, but like their cornerbacks have been like a big red flag for like the last few years. And I think that was also what was like deterring from Harrison Smith's kind of numbers the last couple of seasons too, because he's having to like cover for inexperienced cornerbacks a lot of the time too. Because it was like Peterson who's got a lot of experience, and a lot of guys that we had really just drafted for the most part. So I don't know. I hope our defense has got to look better though. And also I have really high hopes. I mean, if this doesn't go well, I'm going to be, you know what I mean? Like the fan base is going to turn pretty quick because they've come into this with like a total philosophy shift from what we had before. So,
well, actually, I mean, that does raise an interesting question because they won't give Kirk Cousins a full like actual deal now. They're going to like 1-year extensions with his contracts. And I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of agree. Nor should they, but it's costing the team. Like this is this year alone, his cap hit's going to be $31 million with $80 million of dead cap. Next year, it's $36 million, and I mean the dead cap drops, but that is a lot of money for what they've done for him. It's a 1-year contract, $35 million. Sheesh.
Yeah, and he's. I'm not going to say he's worth the money that he gets based on what other quarterbacks get. Like I understand he isn't like. Once again, I'm not delusional. Like I think he's a top 15 quarterback, but not a top 10 quarterback. You know what I mean? Right. Like, and even top 15 is still going to be debatable amongst people.
He's fans, the bar.
You know? Right. Yeah.
He's the bar.
So like but what he did do that he doesn't get enough credit for was he's really shown the value of negotiating in free agency, but he's also like, he's this weird like anomaly because this was in Washington. It's happening here too. He plays just good enough that you get too afraid to get rid of him, but he's like not good enough that you're like, you want to throw these giant contracts at him. But he did shift the whole pay scale for guaranteed money in the whole league. When he signed that deal a few years ago, all guaranteed for like $84 million. Now people are getting these giant guaranteed this money. And now they have to get more than Kirk does. Cause like Kirk's not top 5 or whatever. So anyway, he helped a lot of people make a lot of money. I'm of this mindset. And a lot of fans will disagree with this, but this is because I'm a lifelong Vikings fan. We've never won the Super Bowl. I just got to see it before I die. At some point, I got to see it. My grandfather never got to see it. Like, you know what I mean? Lifelong fan, never got to see it. My dad has never got to see it. It's important that I see a Super Bowl at some point in my life. And
I don't even know what that is.
Right. I know. It's tough.
Welcome to the club, sir.
That took me a second.
Like that 4 of us.
But so I'm okay with the idea of the Vikings completely selling out for a Super Bowl, even if it makes their team shit for like the next 5 seasons or whatever. Like if this is what's going to take, if they have to put this exact team together for a season or 2 with this cap situation and what they pay Kirk, and they can get the job done in the next year or 2, that's okay with me. If the whole thing implodes afterwards, it's going to just really suck if they don't get it done. And now it's like, damn, I wish we would have started a few years ago with a new potential franchise quarterback that might be good by the time that Kirk's gone. You know what I mean? So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place with a guy like Kirk Cousins, because once again, he plays good enough, especially statistically, his numbers are very, very solid. But like, you get rid of him, and then you're like in this market of what, like, you have this great team and you might have a terrible quarterback if he leaves. You know, it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, because I think the Vikings are going to be like good enough where they don't get a premium draft pick to get him.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. That's usually what happens every year. They're just good enough to be in those like late teens when it comes to draft picks, and it never really works out.
Because they lose all these games by like literally 1 score, and it's like, so it's just so 50-50 all the way across the board. Like, and then the whole other thing with the other knock on Kirk is he doesn't win big games. Like, he doesn't win a lot of like Monday night games. He's only won 1 playoff game. I understand all these criticisms, but I also think this guy wasn't even allowed to call timeouts while Mike Zimmer was the head coach. Like, we would get in situations where he needed to call timeouts. He didn't even have the power to call his own timeouts. Zimmer was not good. They apparently didn't watch tape together until like 7 weeks into the last season he was the head coach there. Like, so Zimmer was just completely disconnected from the team. And that's why I'm just really hoping that a guy like, you know, even if he was just holding the clipboard, the guy, you know, he's coming in with at least having some sort of rub from a proven great NFL head coach in Sean McVay. At least he's coming from that.
Sean
with some
McVay's
momentum.
fairy dust.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping some of that rubs off. Like, just please.
Yeah, if you
didn't he work with Cousins in Washington?
He did. He was his quarterback coach in Washington. So it's kind of
So it's not just a clipboard guy. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go back and look at the Vikings draft picks, either through their record or through trades, their most recent draft pick that was in the top 10 was 2014 number 9 Anthony Barr. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute. They did have pick 11 in 2015 with Trey Waynes, but besides that, it's either been in the late teens or in the 20s and sometimes the 30s. So they do have a tendency, they do have a willingness to trade down to see if they can help the team. But just some of that draft the draft science hasn't been adding up for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, they drafted down like 4 times in this year's draft alone. Yeah. I mean, just so no, I'm with you. But once again, new regime, and I like the new GM. Like I said, a young guy with like a different mindset. It's just nice to see something
analytics
different.
guy.
And he is. He's an which is either going to be really good or really bad. I'm not sure yet. I'm really not, because like I don't know if he's going to get like married to some algorithm that like doesn't actually work, but he's like, statistically this is going to work, and like it doesn't. You know, like I'm a little worried about something like that. But he also seems pretty down to earth. I mean, pretty relatable. So, and collaboration is the word they keep using. Same as like Triple H with WWE now, right? Like that's the mindset I feel like the Vikings have, is you weren't allowed to have a voice before this. You weren't allowed to make eye contact in the locker or in the not the locker room, the facilities. They'd come in to do their workouts and stuff, and they wouldn't shake hands with the right. It was just a mess from the top down, leadership wise. Yeah, now it's like it's just a different.
I feel like there's a joke there about not making eye contact with Zimmer's eye issues. Like,
dude, yeah, I forgot about that.
That might have been the reason why.
Didn't he do that by like poking his eye with the plate, like I think he poked himself in the eye with like a playbook or something.
Something happened, yeah, and he needed eye surgery, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
What the fuck? We can't make this shit up.
Yeah, I gotta look it up now. I'm looking at Mike Zimmer's eye because I'm pretty sure it was like.
You know why he was always cocked? He was had like a
yeah. He's had like multiple surgeries on it. He had to be wear like special glasses and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's turn towards the other team. One of the other teams that has a new head coach. You heard that little groan there, RJ. And that's because there's a giant Abraham Lincoln mascot at Bears camp today, and that's because the last time the Bears got 4 scores was 7 years ago. Only in the land of Lincoln. But you know, they traded away this year's draft pick for Justin Fields last year. They have a new head coach, Eberflus. Apparently, they were beating the shit out of the Seahawks tonight on their preseason game. But you know, this is a kind of a make or break year for Justin Fields, because they need to know. They need to know if he's the guy or not. If he can figure out these reads and get the ball where it needs to go. Now we've had years of conversation in Chicago. I live in Chicago, so I have heard a lot of it about Bears receivers and drops and issues and all that kind of stuff. But it's on the quarterback to find a way to make things work. So my question to you, or at least my first question, is how do you feel about this season, particularly when it comes to Justin Fields' development? Because I mean, he is the linchpin. He's the make or break.
He's going to get killed. I'll say this. So I've been watching this like a fucking hawk. Basically, so Poles, to his credit, even though he made some horrible decisions elsewhere, like we could have had Pickens. That's gonna be a stain right there, because you've got Valles Jones, who he looks to be like a really good return guy right now, but he's not really much in the receiving core. Like he can't run a route. Whereas Pickens looks like he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. It's between him and this Dubes guy up north in Green Bay. But on the other hand, he did find that he's been known to be really good at finding linemen. And he did find a starting left tackle, this Braxton Jones kid, who I'm watching him play in these past 2 preseason games. And he's like surprisingly solid. So the left side looks solid. The right side and the center situation is a mess, but that's because the guy we got in free agency, Patrick Lucas, he broke his hand and can't snap the ball with a broken hand. So he's still nursing that. And so we got our old guy, Sam Mustipher, in. He's a backup. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. He's just a pure backup. And he just gets overpowered at it. It's my father.
Did I hear the word Super Bowl?
Bears fans in the house. Bears
the Bears household, okay?
What are you, fucking stupid?
It's not 1985. It's not.
No,
1985.
it's not. But I was very impressed this game tonight. Tevin Jenkins, the guy we drafted to be the tackle, they put him at guard, and the dude is just fucking mauling people. He is just putting people in the dirt in the run game, and I love to see that. Pass game could be a little bit better, but it's not the worst. The right tackle, there's no way around it. Like, whoever is starting has been abysmal, so we're gonna have issues over there. The running backs are missing some blocks. That's a bit concerning. So the blocking elements, I'm concerned. The receiving elements, Justin Fields has 2 really good options. He's got Mooney. He's got Kmet. These are both. I believe Mooney's a number 1. Like, you just watch him on film, he's a number 1 receiver. Kmet, top 10 guy. Statistically, top 10 guy. Like, you can go ahead and look it up. He's a top 10 guy. And I know that doesn't mean much because tight ends, it's like you get 600 yards. You're a top 10 guy, but he's a top 10 guy. And after that, it gets a little bit iffy because you've got the smart thing that Poles did was that he got Byron Pringle and he got N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry and Byron Pringle are the number 1 and number 2 top run blocking wide receivers in the league over the past year, which sets up a nice running game, takes the pressure off of you, especially if you're running to the outside. You got this Ebner kid who's a speed guy, you can go ahead and cut the edges, complement David Montgomery nicely. So I think there's some elements that are good there for his development. I'm watching him play. He's looking okay. And if he just gets in this okay to good range, like kind of like where Josh Allen was year 2, I'll feel really good about year 3 when we can start to really sink money into him because they are going to have the number 1 in cap space next year. And he's set up for success. But it's going to be a slog in the meanwhile. It's going to be a fucking slog.
How do you feel?
Wait a second. I have to interrupt. Did we just compliment 2 wide receiver pickups because of their run blocking?
He did.
What the hell's going on out here?
You know, Hines Ward made his entire career off of run blocking.
He also caught the ball. He also caught a lot of passes.
That did not work for you the way you thought it was going.
And Hines Ward was an elite blocker.
Well, these guys are elite blockers too.
Is N'Keal Harry even going to play?
What?
Is N'Keal Harry even going to play?
He'll probably play. It depends when he gets back from his injury. Go figure.
Right.
What did he get injured from? Run blocking?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably put his heel too hard in the dirt.
How do you feel about the Bears defense? That's supposed to be one of their key things, but Khalil Mack's no longer there.
Yeah, but you still got Robert Quinn. So you got
Say the other guy. Say the other guy.
What?
Say the other guy. Say the other guy on defense. The other guy. The guy that's the best
Roquan
player.
Smith? Yeah, that guy?
Yeah, what about that
The guy requesting a trade because he doesn't want to be there anymore?
Yeah, they'll keep him here for a year, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. I'd like to keep him, but if he's asking for like the same money as like Shaq Leonard, then it doesn't make sense to keep him. Just trade him, get picks, or get a receiver, get like a really good receiver. It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, the Bears secondary to me has been something that they had a really good secondary for a while, and then it seems to have dropped off a bit.
No. The secondary has been revamped. I am.
That's where I'm going with this. That's my
optimistic.
question.
I'm feeling optimistic about the secondary. The secondary looks completely rehabbed. So I mean, you still got Bojack, and he's kind of a bum, but if you get good people around him, he can be really good. And they got Jaquan Brisker, and this guy looks like the next coming of Mike Brown. He looks like a fucking beast. Kyler Gordon looks solid, and Jalen Johnson's good. So I'm feeling really good about the secondary. The things that I'm worried about the outside linebackers, and I'm worried about the defensive tackles because the edges look solid. Like you got Robert Quinn, you got Mario Edwards providing pass rush, and what's his name? I can't remember it right now.
I mean, I can rattle off the names if you want. I have them in front of me.
It's the left edge.
There's only like 90 people on that chart
right now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is a team that I feel like is going to be playing from behind a lot, particularly because of this offense and whether or not they're going to be able to score. This is a team that's had some serious issues, and this defense has got to step it up if they're going to try to keep them in games.
We're not going to win many games. I've already accepted this. I have already accepted this. This is I'm kind of praying for like a 3 to 5 win season. If Justin gets better throughout the season, the top that we can expect, blowing off the top expectations, 8-9. 8-9. That's the best we could hope for.
So I wanted to ask you guys, since we don't have a Packers fan here with us, I think I want to go around the horn and ask everybody, with Aaron Rodgers getting another year older, maybe this year, maybe from now on, he's not going to make it to the NFC Championship game. It's only going to be divisional round. Then he's going to lose, and he's losing Devontae Adams. What is the key for you guys, your team, to try to seize control of this division? Because if there was ever a time where the Packers looked their absolute weakest, it's right now. To me, their offense is really going to be running through whether or not Rodgers can make something out of nothing with these receivers. I mean, he does say Allen Lazard is a Hall of Famer, but it's also going to be through Aaron Jones. And I feel like a part of me feels as though they may even turn into more of a ball control offense as the season moves along with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. So, Mike, I want to start with you. What do you think, especially because there's a lot of eyes are on the Lions and this rebuild? What do you feel is the weakness for the Packers this season?
That lack of chemistry with his receivers when he needs to get a check down for the third down. He had a stud every third down that he knew that was going to make a catch whenever he wanted, and he's gone now. So it's to expose that chemistry. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of running from them. Some of our teams could stop it. Some of us can't. But it's just to expose the chemistry. It's probably going to take a minute for them to get used to his receivers. They're still going to do things because they have Aaron Rodgers. Unfortunately, he just can't go away. He's etched in my nightmares all the time. all those Hail Marys. All those Hail Marys.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh,
what are y'all talking about? They got Sammy Watkins on their team.
Right. They got him. But those Hail Marys are etched in my brain. Shouldn't have happened, but it happened. But that's the past. But it's to expose that chemistry. I think that's what needs to happen.
Steven, what about you? What do you feel is the weakness for the Packers that the Vikings can exploit? Because I just want to say I do a week by week breakdown when I do my win loss, and I have Minnesota upsetting Green Bay first week.
Yeah, well, so do I, but I'm a little bit biased in my predictions. So. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing, right? We've all dealt with it our whole lives with Green Bay. They had all those years with Brett Favre. And then, somehow Aaron Rodgers is even better, the Brett Favre for even longer. I mean, it's, insane. I'm happy the Vikings got one good year out of Favre. Like I totally flipped. Like Brett Favre was my least favorite athlete in history up until he played for the Vikings and he played good. And I was like, oh man, I got to cheer for this guy, man. This is crazy.
I got a good year out of him too when he was on the Jets and then he got hurt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was a weird situation. That one season with the Jets and the whole like fake retirements and all that stuff. That was wild. But anyway, yeah. So like Rodgers, he's been there even longer than Brett was at this point, right? I mean, and he's been just as successful. I mean, it's insane that we've dealt with this for so long. And I mean, part of it's having good receivers, but a lot of it's him. I heard, I think he said something today in an interview, today or yesterday, about how the receivers, there's some dissension there to some degree, because he was like, the receivers either need to like figure this out or get off the field. Is basically what he said.
It was, it was
in good shape
where they were having problems with route running and drops and things like that. And so today they said all the receivers need to be in the facility at 8:25 in the morning in the quarterback room. They all come there. All three quarterbacks are there, plus the offensive coordinator. And I guess they had like a come to Jesus moment. And like they said there wasn't yelling involved, but I mean, who knows? And apparently afterwards they had some good practices, especially because they're going up against the Saints in some of these training drills and things like that. But the young guys are just like, oh well, I mean, it's great to have people like Randall Cobb here to help show us the way. And then they asked Randall Cobb about it, and Randall Cobb was like, look, it's not about whether we're being nice to them or whether it's the right way to think or wrong way to do things. It's just how the Packers do things. So they better figure it out, or we're going to get people in here who will do what we want them to do. So it seems as though there are some big chemistry issues going on between Rodgers and his receivers, which is interesting considering Alan Lazard, at least the guy who's penciled in as the number one, he's been there for a while.
Yeah, the only issue with him though is he's had injuries. So like they can't like completely rely on him, and it's huge to lose Devontae
He's not
Adams.
number
obviously.
one either.
No, I mean, I'm just saying he's number one of the depth chart.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think Aaron Rodgers is so good that like he's gonna make mediocre receivers have good seasons. You know what I mean? But like, I think it is baffling to me that Green Bay is even in a position where like they've had issues with Aaron Rodgers, and it's even gotten to like the points that it has. Like, I would kill to have a quarterback like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Like, you give that dude what he wants. I know he's probably a prick, and like I've heard stories about him and this and that, and like whatever. He's an unlikable guy, or if you watch the McAfee show, I guess he can be likable too. Depending on. But it's, man, I don't know how you can't keep that guy happy. It's insane to me. And I feel like if his play declines, I think it's going to only be out of spite. I don't think I think he's like Tom Brady in a lot of ways. I don't think he's any worse now than he was 10 seasons ago. Like, it's just a matter of if he has people who can catch the ball for him.
Yeah.
Give him the ayahuasca and give it to his receivers. The ultimate empathy and chemistry creating device for a great season.
Yes.
Rob, I wanted to ask you the same question. What do you think are the weaknesses of the Packers that the Vikings can exploit? Because it does seem as though the Vikings are probably the best team set up to try to take control of the division.
The biggest weakness is pretty much what you guys went into with the wide receivers. That's going to help the Vikings out a lot because, again, I'm going back to what I worry about the secondary. If their receivers are having issues for Green Bay, that's going to do numbers for me. It's going to help us out a lot. Green Bay's defense is good, so I'm not that part. I'm not worried about their defense. I mean, they're good, but compared to like, as far as like what they need to worry about is their wide receivers. They're a team that should be looking at I don't know what they call it, waiver wire to see who becomes available, because there's still some good free agents out there. So it'll be interesting.
one other thing for the Vikings when it comes to the Packers specifically is I think it's going to be fun to watch Zadarius Smith play against the Packers. I think he's wanted to tackle Aaron Rodgers for a long time. He's been playing with him for a long time.
That was probably one of the most interesting NFC North related free agency kind of moves of the year.
He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah,
he does. Same with Daniel Hunter. I mean, they both do. It's going to be huge to lose either of those guys or both of them.
I still can't believe that the Packers let him go.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still a great player.
Can I say something about the Packers? And we sort of got into this. I forgot which video we did this before, but we got to talk about it again. Let me just name some names here of some very valuable NFL players: Patrick Queen, Michael Pittman, T. Higgins, Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chase Claypool, Trevon Diggs, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins. Any one of those players the Packers could have gotten if they don't draft Jordan Love. What a wasted pick.
Yeah, what was it? A couple days ago, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in that preseason game.
No, I'm never three interceptions in the preseason. I'm not sure I'm ever gonna forget that or like be like, damn.
At the end of the day,
holy.
I think a couple of Packers. I think part of the reason why Rodgers, part of the falling out with the Packers a couple seasons ago was because when Stephon Diggs became available, they didn't even make a play for him. And Rodgers is like, what the hell? like there's elite receivers available right now. And we're not even, it's insane. Kind of thing happened with Brady with New England. I don't understand how it ever gets to that point. Like, you're ultra successful. You got this franchise quarterback who's still playing at an elite level, and you won't just keep getting pieces for them. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's true. It's very true.
To be fair, he wasn't really doing that well at the point that they drafted Jordan Love, and then they pissed him off, and then he erupted.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that was for sure. Absolutely.
Which is I think the funniest part of that to me was that when he got all pissed off and they were like, well, what do you like, he made that kind of statement or what do you want us to do? He was like, I want you guys to tell me why you got rid of guys like Randall Cobb. They're like, all right, fine, we'll bring Randall Cobb back. And Randall Cobb last year, 12 games, 375 yards and 5 touchdowns. I was like, I don't know if you could have asked for somebody else. Could have maybe if you could have asked for somebody else.
I don't think that the Packers' weakness is the receivers, guys. I think I'm hearing lots of good things about this Romeo Dubes kid out of camp.
All Romeos, you hear a lot of good things about, actually.
Yeah, he's apparently all the Packers players are selecting him for their fantasy teams. I think they know something. I think he's been the one that Aaron Rodgers never praises rookie receivers. He's actually praising the shit out of this guy. So I think there's something with this guy. I think actually their weakness is their offensive line. They just lost a tackle and a guard this year.
Yeah.
So I think that you're going to see the running game weaken a little bit. I think you're going to see more sacks being taken, and you're going to see it stifle in that way. Also, their defense, they lost Zadarius Smith to the Vikings, and he was a huge piece in the pass rush. So now they only have one side of the pass rush. So I think that they're overall a decaying team. I think we can.
You can hear the excitement in his voice. Packers stuck us down.
Yes. We're all in agreement on that. I mean,
absolutely. Well, the thing is, even if Aaron Rodgers goes into retirement, he always have ownership of the Bears on his resume. So,
Until we go to Arlington Heights.
That's true.
The team.
Can I read some comments here, StatKing?
Go for it.
How couldn't they get 4 scores with Mitch? Says Bob talking about the Bears. I know RJ's a big Mitch Trubisky fan. He's gone.
How couldn't they get scores from Mitch?
They need to know Fields can play for sure. My family are Alabama fans, and they are rooting for Will Anderson Jr. Says Chase.
Is that the new Alabama quarterback?
Not the quarterback. I forgot what position he plays. I think he's running back.
Why would you draft a running back that high?
I actually disagree that this is the last chance for Fields to prove it. The Bears are punting this year because of Poles' terrible financial management. After this season, they are all in for 2023. I meant Pace, not Poles.
No, it's Poles. Oh, because of Pace's.
I was talking about the financial.
Yeah.
That Pace put them in a financial straight, and then Poles has to basically work with a really shit stick to kind of put things together, which is why I'm giving him somewhat of the benefit of the doubt, but some of these picks, I was like, Jaquan Brisker's really good, but
honestly, like when the GM job was open for Minnesota, like I did want Ryan Poles, and then like once he got hired to the Bears and he started doing those press conferences, that's when I started getting nervous about that guy, to be honest. Like, well, during the hiring process, I was impressed by his resume, like coming into it. But
same with Queasy. I liked Queasy too.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care about how he publicly speaks, honestly. Because Nick Sirianni is a terrible public speaker, but he made me look like a fool when I was making fun of him because he ended up in the playoffs. So I just care about the results at this point.
At the end of the day, that's all that really matters, to be fair. Like, it doesn't really matter. It just to me, it was strange. Like it was like he was like reading off something, but he had a hard time reading it. It just didn't come off good to me. But at the same time, dude, if y'all win games, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Josh says, I was told by a Bears fan the only good thing about attending a game at Soldier Field is the view outside the stadium from the Jesus seats.
I think he was talking about me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
He was talking about it.
I agree with partially that last comment about Justin Fields. I mean, you do gotta give the rookies that 3-year window. It's gotta be there. Like, you don't draft a guy that high and be like, this is a make or break year for him. I want to follow up with a question about you, RJ, with a certain guy in your backfield. His name is David Montgomery.
I love him.
Like, it seems like he's really good, but it's like, is he good enough to support Fields and help him even get there to that next level? Because he seems like he's good, but is he that guy?
Depends on how you use him. Because at the end of the day, it's the coaches that use him. But like, if you put him there, like if you get him the right blocking, he's a guaranteed 4 or 5 yards. You can't say no to that.
Listen, the thing about Justin Fields.
I mean, you are talking to the guy who's got Derrick Henry, so I think he says no to 4 or 5 yards.
No. Come on, we can't do something like that. It's just, you want somebody that can also establish some dump offs from the backfield to help him escape. So it's like, can he do both? Because he seems to be a really good runner, but that receiving, can he take that next step to catch 40-45 balls?
If you look at the highlights from Justin Fields last year, I guarantee there's one play where he does this like 15 to 20 yard catch to David Montgomery, like out of a wheel route. It's a thing of beauty. David Montgomery is versatile. There's a reason why Pace and Nagy specifically went after him, because instead of like sticking with Jordan Howard, who had a solid year at that time, but they thought that David Montgomery was a lot more dynamic, and he is.
Definite upgrade. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and Khalil Herbert last year did a really good job of filling in for Monty, and it seems as though with the loss of Tariq Cohen, it looks like Khalil Herbert is going to be filling those maybe third down roles.
I think Ebner actually is going to be the third down back, honestly.
Like Ebner?
Yeah, because Ebner, so Khalil is kind of like that balance. You read the hole and then you push through it kind of guy. Ebner is a scat back kind of. He's got that speed, kind of like hit the hole really hard and cut around.
With 3.8 yards a carry and 800 yards, that's kind of like, that's not helping. It's like it's really not helping.
3.8?
Yeah, he didn't even average 4 yards a clip last year. So that's kind of why I wanted to dig into that question with him, because he seems like he's good, but come on, like, got to get him at least four plus, like, at least.
I'm a big believer that a lot of what you do, like the running back's output, unless you have even with somebody like a Derrick Henry, a lot of the running back's output depends completely on your run blocking. And if your run blocking's not good, then your running back's going to suck. And even still, he was still breaking tackles and generating 3.8 yards a carry.
This raises another question for me, because Eberflus is a defensive coach. So this your offensive coordinator, previously he was Aaron Rodgers' coach, quarterback's coach and passing game coordinator for about 3 years or so. So how do you feel?
Aaron Rodgers is his own coach.
I mean, yeah, that's where I'm going with this. How do you feel about the coaching staff changes? Because that's one thing we haven't really touched on.
Ooh, I've noticed that it feels a lot more organized. There's a lot less hope and change talk and like rah, like, oh, I'm so optimistic talk and finding the whys, and more like, okay, here's an organized plan to attack business.
How'd you feel about Nagy?
Well, at first it was great. And then it just and then you kind of started to see like, oh God, this guy does not know how to form an identity with his offense. And here I can definitely see where this guy was influenced by LaFleur. Let's put it that way. Like he has that like kind of like zone blocking, kind of set the edge running, and then mix it in with rollouts and some interesting passing concepts.
Gotcha. All right, so Romeo,
Can I say one last thing about the Bears?
Go for it.
Justin Fields, like, I agree with JJ. He gets another year. I don't think they did enough to put enough around him for this season.
No,
you got to do that next year. You got to give
if
him
he
another
regresses,
chance.
he won't get another year. If he regresses,
But regresses because of the stuff around him. He's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get hurt, and he does not have enough weapons.
If he stays where he was at and gets a little bit better, and you see some progress, he'll get another year. If he regresses, he's gonna get.
I would not give up on him based on this year.
Yeah, he has
how bad it is.
It's like he's gonna go into his first full year as a starter. Like if you see some,
but it's not Poles' guy. That's the problem.
That's a really good point.
It's the politics.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
And remember, guys, we are talking about a team that, for a lot of us, the three of us ourselves, we're saying that they're going to be getting maybe 5-6 wins. They're going to be in the running for one of those quarterbacks as well.
Yeah, but to give up on a 23-year-old, I mean that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, stranger things have happened, man, in the league.
Like he hasn't shown that he's the worst quarterback in the league. Like he hasn't done that. Like it's.
I think the Jets and the Jaguars did more to put more around their quarterbacks than the Bears did for Fields.
Well, I mean, I'm glad the Bears didn't overpay for Christian Kirk.
I would have really liked DJ Chark, though.
I bet
the lines are going to be. I gotta say this before you guys go on. Like the lines are gonna. I think the lines are gonna surprise people. They got some.
Yes, we are. 100%. Yes, we are.
Mike's about to run through a brick wall right after we're done.
All right, with them. And Campbell gets me pumped up too.
Yeah, Chase, but Josh Rosen was trash. I don't think Justin Fields is trash.
Yeah, let's not compare Rosen to Fields.
Josh Rosen's a douchebag, apparently. That's
y'all reaching. Y'all reaching.
Yeah, I think that's disrespectful. You can't compare him to him. That's
Josh Rosen, by all accounts, is a terrible teammate and a douchebag, and that's why they got rid of him. He does not.
What's going to be next? The Ryan Leaf comparisons?
Yeah, pretty much.
Next.
So what I want to do now is I want to go around and I want to ask you guys, name one player from another team in your division that you would want on your team. And I mean, you guys can pick the same people if you want, but sometimes we like to make sure there's a little variety. So Mike, let's start with you. One player from another NFC North team that you would like to see.
Oh, this is easy for Mike. This is easy for Mike. Don't blow it, Mike. Don't blow it, Mike.
What position? So I won't really mess it up.
No.
It should be obvious.
Any listen, man.
Oh, this is easy, dude.
Dunk, man.
I know. I mean, I want Aaron Rodgers.
There we go.
I can't. That's not realistic. And plus, I hate his guts. It's like LeBron on the Lakers. I like the Lakers a little bit, but I hate LeBron, so I don't like him. So
but that receiver core with DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson with Aaron Rodgers behind, that would be insane.
That would be
insane. Steven and Rob were able to root for Brett Favre.
Yeah,
you can't root for Aaron Rodgers.
You would turn. No. You would turn if he started playing. If it looked like he was going to take you to the Super Bowl, you change your mind. I promise.
It would.
It happened to me. It happened to me.
And then Amon-Ra St. Brown would be people's top 10 fantasy pick too.
Listen, man, I was not.
I'll stay with Rodgers. I'll just stay with him.
I've been a Seattle. I've hated Seattle for a very long time. now I'm rooting for Russell Wilson. So it could trust me. It's fine. But if you would like to pick somebody in addition to Rodgers, because that's kind of like the obvious,
Well, it's from the same team, but on the defense, just to complete the Michigan tree, Rashad Gary. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I want him back. I just want, we got Fletchers, we got Hutchinson, and then get Gary back. That'd be great.
Rob, what about you? What's one player, or who's one player in the division that you would love to see on the Vikings? You are muted, sir.
Chicago Bears, Roquan Smith.
That's a possibility. That's an easy possibility.
That's who I'd want to win, or that's who I'd want.
Steven, what about you?
Honestly, I'm really trying to think because I feel like, obviously Aaron Rodgers is like the obvious choice, but I like Kirk for like what he brings to the team.
Sir, sorry. Wait a minute.
I saw that immediate slander.
That's an Ohio State fan. That's an Ohio State fan.
Oh yeah. Hate the Buckeyes.
I'm like fired up here.
I wish the horseshoe would burn down.
Austin.
I hate the horseshoe.
That's awesome.
I see you, Austin.
Steven, who's your player?
I would say whoever y'all would consider. Who do you think is the best cornerback in the division? Because I would say that's what I would say. Just the best cornerback on any of these teams. I'm trying to think of who that would be.
Could be somebody.
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah. So I just go with that. I feel like the Vikings have a solid team. I really do. Like there's no specific position where I'd be like a real trade out that I'd really want from anywhere else, like one for one. But I would take just the best cornerback available because that's where I'm the most concerned about our defense.
Gotcha. RJ, what about you? Feel free to also pick Roquan Smith.
If he's healthy, David Bakhtiari.
That would be good.
Be healthy.
That would be good. Yeah.
If he's healthy. If he's not healthy, I'm just gonna go. The other left tackles aren't worth it. I need to pick like the best center. I don't know who the best center in the NFC North is.
I'm surprised nobody said Justin Jefferson.
That's because I'm going to say him for the Jets.
Oh, fair. I forgot we weren't done yet. I'm sorry.
Jefferson's a really good pick.
You ain't get up here yet.
I'm sorry. I didn't. I forgot that we were going back to the host. My bad.
Yeah, so now the three hosts
hello.
gets
You want to help out Justin Fields? Get Justin Jefferson. Hello, RJ.
Justin. Come on,
man. No, you don't understand. Justin holds onto the ball too long. You need to block for him. He's the guy who's going to fall down. You need to block for him, and then he'll just find the open guy.
But could you imagine that 1-2 punch between Jefferson and Mooney like that? That would be
nasty.
That would be nasty.
It might look like the Cincinnati Bengals last year with barely an offensive line, but made it to the Super Bowl.
Justin is not Joe Burrow. Okay, Joe Burrow has got elite processing capabilities,
you're right about that.
Justin has elite legs and elite arm strength.
Right. JJ, we'll start with you. Who's one player in the division that you would love to see on the Titans?
I was gonna go easy and say Aaron Rodgers, but I think Aaron Rodgers would hate our receiver core, so he would just bitch about that the entire time he's there. So I'm just no way I can take Aaron Rodgers because he's just gonna complain the entire time he's there. I'm just gonna give Ryan Tannehill the best weapon you could possibly give him and give him Justin Jefferson because
that's fair.
That elite receiver with Derrick Henry, like what the hell? Like pick your poison.
Romeo, what about you?
Yeah, it's a bias pick for me too. LSU, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the Broncos. Well, I mean Tim Patrick going down, but I actually would go Roquan Smith because the linebacker core for the Broncos is easily the key weakness on the defense, and I think the defense besides that is pretty damn loaded. So I would go Roquan Smith for the Broncos. Now we're gonna go around the horn one more time, and we're gonna ask you guys. You don't have to get if you have who you think is like the placement order for the division. If you have a full win-loss record, that's fine. If you don't, no worries there. Rob, let's start with you. Who do you see winning the division? And if you do have win-loss, love to hear it.
Well, I went with the homer pick, so I have the Minnesota Vikings winning the division. I have them with a 12-5 record.
Goddamn, pal.
Packer stock is down.
I was drinking when I picked this, so and I don't drink, so there you go. So, but yeah, I actually did records for all three teams. I had Packers at 11-6, and Romeo, I have Detroit with the 6-10-1 record, and Chicago with a 5-11-1 record.
Wow.
Oh, you had the ties like I did.
Yes, exactly. The same team.
Trying to break Mike's heart.
It's gonna happen.
Just
gonna happen.
put RJ and Big Mike through more shit. Just bad enough. Like
I can't do no more.
Enough fucking Fields and Goff slander. The fact that neither one of them will be able to win a game.
We'll stay with the Vikings. Steven, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, once again, gonna be very, very biased. I'm so biased I can't even like choose them to lose games. Like I'm that biased. So like I'm just
So perfect season.
They run the table, baby. Hey, I'll say this. Like I'm never confident against Green Bay ever. So like, I think that it's very possible they split games with Green Bay. It's always gonna be competitive within the division of the NFC North. I'll say, I'll take the Vikings to win the division. Obviously, I'm going to pick that. But I would say as far as like win-loss records, when I was going through, I think I had Detroit at 6 and Chicago at 6 wins each. Green Bay, I think I had them at I wrote down 5 losses. So I guess I'd put them at 12-5. So yeah, there was one that I was on the fence about. It was almost 11-6. I can't remember which game that was. But yeah, so that's what I'll go with. I'll say that the Vikings.
How many wins for the Vikings?
I mean, they're going to run
because you have the Packers at 12, so it had to be 13. They got
to win the whole. They got to win the whole thing, man. They got to win every single game.
NFC North is dominating NFC.
Got to do it. Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough when you go because I'm just kind of going game by game and being like, do I think they're going to win or lose? And I probably didn't look into it as far as I should have, but. I think it's gonna be a fun year. And like y'all have said, I think the Lions are gonna be better than what people expect. I'm excited to see what the Bears do with new leadership. The Packers are always gonna be dangerous especially with Aaron Rodgers, and the Vikings are starting over. It's a new mindset, but with a lot of the same team. So we'll see what happens.
But at the same time, it's like, would anybody be surprised if the Vikings win 11-6? I don't think they would be like, oh shit.
It would have to be a dramatic step up for the defense. I have faith in the offense.
The crazy thing though is last season there was legitimately probably 6 or 7 games where like it was within one score and it was decided within like the last 2 minutes of the game. Like we were very close to having 11 wins last season if a few plays just go the other way. So
I have to read the statistic that I found in my research that for the first time in 62 years of Vikings football, the defense was back-to-back seasons of allowing 400 or more points.
Yeah, I believe it. It hasn't been good, especially for a guy like Mike Zimmer who prided himself on defense so much. Our defense wasn't good the last few years. So,
Mike, how about you?
All right, so
don't you go saying the Lions in first place?
No, not gonna do that.
It's okay.
We don't have Aaron Rodgers yet.
The Lions had his
no, not gonna do that. I don't got win losses, but I got placement. So I got the Vikings winning the division. I got the Packers. I got the Packers in second place. I got us in third place, and the Bears finishing last.
Damn, I've got more faith in your team than you do.
RJ,
let me ask Mike something real quick. He said Packers second. Do they make the playoffs second?
Yeah, they make the playoffs. All right. Yeah, because it's Aaron Rodgers. He makes the playoffs.
And then he fucks up in the playoffs.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then blames everybody else.
Right. Hopefully that'll be the end, and then we can take second place, and hopefully next year after that.
I think that you're going to take second place this year. I think the Green Bay Packers taking the first place, Lions second place, Vikings with a surprise meltdown due to some kind of error somewhere along the way.
It's possible. It happens.
Yeah, flip that coin.
And then Bears
Lions go 7-10.
Dude, y'all. I mean,
humble guys got the Bears last.
They kept it very real. I'm over here like Vikings 17-0, and like they're like actually. I mean, I respect that. So,
hey, no, oh, wait, I fucked up. Bears Super Bowl. Yeah,
Yeah.
come back from the grave. Lead us to
Justin
a
Fields,
17-0
league
record.
MVP, Super Bowl MVP.
Justin
Let me-
Fields,
Unanimous,
6,000
too.
yards, 200 touchdowns, 20 interceptions.
Now he's not only delusional, he's playing Madden.
And
Let me
he's
tell
getting
you
his,
what the
and he's getting his Ditka voice.
let me tell you what the chat's saying. Bob says Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears. Bears with 3 wins. He made sure to specify how many wins the Bears get.
I agree with that, by the way. It's like 3 or 5. It's one of those.
Chase says Packers win a division, Vikes second, Lions third,
Ooh,
Bears last.
This poll is surprising.
I'm gonna read that last. Chicago Duke Dog, Packers 11 wins, Vikes 10, Lions 7, Bears 6. And in the poll, 47% got the Packers winning the division. 21% say Lions. 21% say Bears. 11% say Vikings.
Yeesh.
Who the fuck is watching this?
Yo, that's
ALW says,
up.
can y'all talk about
Surprising,
Cowboys fans being out of touch? Dude just said Vikings are going 17-0.
Listen, ALW, I'm not out of touch. I've made it very, very clear that I'm being incredibly biased right now. Okay, like, I mean, here's the thing. Hey, I've lived through some seasons where the Vikings came close to having perfect years. It has come close a couple times in my life, but no. I mean, here's the thing. I can realistically say right off the top, I think we'll split with the Packers. So like right there, I think the Vikings will lose a game this season.
It'd
I
be
was gonna say,
hilarious
I
if
feel
you guys
like
were
we
just
need-
going undefeated, and then Captain Kirk would face his old nemesis, which is a Monday Night Football game.
Right? Sure.
I was gonna say, man, if you think they're going 17-0, you may need the same eye surgery that Zimmer had.
Yeah.
When does crack? Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
That is one of my favorite clips that you have in your arsenal.
ALW says Packers 12, Lions 8, Vikings 7, Bears 3. Oof. Bears, fam.
Oof.
Somebody said 21% are wilding. Which 21% is 2 of them?
Yeah, there was just 2 of them.
There's 2 of them.
I will say, I used to live right on Roosevelt in Michigan, right by the closest elevated train stop to the stadium, and I used to love on Sundays looking out my window and seeing happy Bears fans arriving, and then waiting a couple hours, and I would go look, and it'd be sad Bears fans departing. So it's been a history with the Bears, but
Time-honored tradition.
Midwest is about its traditions. But guys, we want to thank everybody for tuning into this stream. We want to thank our guests. You guys can catch us here, THH Sports, covering football, basketball, baseball, boxing, UFC. We have our main channel, True Heel Heat Wrestling, where we cover everything that happens in the world of wrestling. We have watch-alongs for shows. We have watch-alongs for pay-per-views. We have reviews and so much more content. But we're going to go around the horn, and if you guys have any social media or anything you'd like to plug, feel free. Rob, let's start with you, sir.
Yeah, every Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern, I host a show on Fightful Overbook called Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. You can follow me at Rob Wilkins on Twitter, and then starting a week from Saturday, I will be hosting a show with that gentleman at the bottom, Steven Jensen, and Doug, and it is going to be Fightful Football Weekly, and we're going to start at least on Twitch and go from there, maybe.
Very nice, very nice.
Oh,
Mike,
guys,
how about you?
Competition?
Yeah, competition.
I'm just kidding.
Imagine the Vikings lose that first game. Stevens' entire season is just gone.
Yeah. Hey, here's the thing. Here's something we didn't even touch on. I fucking love fantasy football. So, like, that's the whole other side of it. Like, if the Vikings aren't doing well, at least there's always fantasy football. So,
Mike, how about you?
Yeah, we're doing plugs right now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, Sunday, you got to pray for your boy. Hopefully, I don't have to do squats on the Around the Point podcast. It's going to be Chase Covington and Steve. Hopefully Steve can pull one through, so I won't have to exercise. Pull and play, Steve.
Steven, how about you?
Y'all can see me every Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on the main Fightful YouTube channel, along with Jeremy Lambert. Check out the Spotlight. Every Sunday, Fightful Select Weekender podcast covering mainly the world of indie wrestling. Got a lot of NXT UK stuff to talk about this week as well, as a matter of fact. So you check that out, FightfulSelect.com. For only $5 a month, you can check that out. And then I'll be at GCW this Saturday in Atlanta. Show's going to be awesome, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, everything else I got going on, just follow me on Twitter. It's at FightTalk _FIGHTTALK _ use code FightTalk and independentwrestling.tv.
Very nice. And RJ, how about you?
Do I get to plug my startup here?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, cool. So in my day job for now, I work on a tokenized fantasy sports platform. So my co-founders and I came up with this idea. So we made NFTs of players and we tied them to their stats, and we took the proceeds from those original NFTs and then we put those funds into a yield aggregator. So they're constantly accruing interest. And then we made it into what's called we're calling the Ultimate Keeper League. The funds drip down their yield based upon how they score statistically with their fantasy points. So every year you're going ahead and buying a player and you see if you can go higher. If you think you're going to produce really well, you're going to earn some extra money along the way just off of the interest that's being generated in the protocol. And then we took that and we made it into a big old fantasy sports league that's also accruing interest throughout as you play it. So if you want to check that out, it's at leaguedow.com. And leave on that.
Thanks, guys. Want to thank you guys for being here. JJ, where can the people find you, sir?
On Instagram, you can find me at TrueHill_TopGuyJJ, and on the True Hill Heat Sports channel with the guys Romeo and the StatKing and the many fans that we have in the professional football league, and on the True Hill Heat Wrestling channel on Saturdays when I'm actually off. You can catch me on the True Hill Heat podcast with SP3, Miss Chrissy Love. And if I have the day off, I will pop in on a watch along for a pay-per-view. Hopefully it's not a WWE one, but I would pop in for a watch along there and just enjoy it.
Romeo, tell the people the insane number of places that they can find you.
We have time.
I'll keep it short. True Hill Romeo, Twitter and Instagram. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us for this preview. My goal is hopefully that I could bring you guys on again for a watch along when it's a big game, when it's a big Vikings game, when it's a big Lions game, when it's a big Bears game, so we can have more fun just shooting the shit again. Here on the sports channel, if you haven't already, check out the one we did on Tuesday, previewing the NFC West. And this weekend, this Saturday, Usyk versus Joshua. We'll do a watch along for that fight. Big boxing fight. That'll be probably around 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Put your notifications on. You'll know for sure when we go live. And UFC 278 Saturday night. That'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern. The main card, Usman versus Edwards 2. And next Thursday, we only got 2 more divisions left, StatKing.
Mm-hmm.
I know what we're saving for last. Next division, the next one might get a little ugly. This was a nice little friendly banter.
Yeah,
this was a nice friendly banter in the NFC.
Probably
because we didn't have the Packers fan here, bro.
100%.
Yeah, that's a real good. Dude, honestly, I feel like I'm leaving the show with some new friends that are just like total. They're rivals of mine for football, but like these are all good dudes. Like this will talk great. Yeah, this is awesome.
Next week, I have no hope for next week. No hope for next week.
I have family members who are Packers fans. Insufferable fucks. We never allowed them.
Those fucking cheeseheads.
Next week, I have no hope. I hope it's okay, but we're going to have Bills fans, Dolphins fans, Patriots fans, and Jets fans. I'm a Jets fan. So it might be ugly next week. It might be ugly.
Patriots fans alone.
Everybody's like, shouting at each other.
We've got like 6 Super Bowls. We're the greatest.
I think I'm taking next week off. This is going to be insufferable.
AFC East.
And guys, you can catch me here on Dark Power, covering AEW Dark Elevation, NWA Power, and Rampage wrap up with True Draw Josh, where we talk about everything that happens on AEW Rampage. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in, like Romeo said, and we want to thank our panel for being here. We appreciate all of you guys. I think the NFC North is, more wide open than it has ever been. And last year it felt like a pretty, like it could be an interesting division. And this year it feels even more so because, man, the Packers seem like they're finally giving up that stranglehold. And I know the rest of you in the division have felt for a long time the way that everybody in the AFC East, speaking of which, felt for a long time with Tom Brady over there. So just as how there was hope for everybody in the AFC East, well, I mean, particularly Bills fans, it seems as though that sunny days may be ahead for all of you guys. So for myself,
easy there, Sean.
For myself, for True Heel Romeo, for Top Guy JJ, for Rob Wilkins, for Steven Jensen, for Big Mike, and for RJ, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. I still need a better sign off. We will catch you guys later.
Look at that Justin Fields kid. Look at him.
Wrong Justin.